The video call connected at exactly 6:47 p.m. on a Tuesday evening. My mother's face filled the screen, her expression already set in that particular way that meant she'd made a decision and expected compliance. "We need to discuss Thanksgiving arrangements," she announced without preamble. I was in my home office, still in my work clothes minus the blazer. My 7-year-old daughter, Maya, was doing homework at the kitchen table visible behind me. "Okay, what's the plan this year? Your father and I are hosting at the house as usual. 25 guests confirmed." Mom adjusted her reading glasses. "But here's the thing, we're having some very important people this year. The Hendersons are coming. You know, Thomas Henderson from Henderson Capital? And the Montgomerys. Patricia Montgomery sits on 3 Fortune 500 boards." "That sounds nice," I said neutrally, already sensing where this was heading. Mom leaned closer to her camera. "So we need everything to be absolutely perfect. Sophisticated. Ugh. You understand what I'm saying?" "Not really." She sighed with exaggerated patience. "Leave your daughter home. Rich people are coming to Thanksgiving. We can't have a child running around making noise and disrupting conversations about business and investments. These connections are crucial for your brother's career." I felt my jaw tighten but kept my voice level. "You want me to leave Maya at home on Thanksgiving?" "Exactly. I knew you'd understand. Maybe get a babysitter? Or that friend of yours. The single one, maybe she's not doing anything." Mom waved her hand dismissively. "The point is, this dinner is for networking. Very high-level people. A 7-year-old doesn't fit the atmosphere we're creating." Through the screen I could see my father nodding in the background. My brother Marcus appeared behind Mom's shoulder. "It's really for the best, sis. These are serious people. Last thing we need is kid drama." "Everyone agrees this makes the most sense," Mom continued. "Your sister already arranged care for her boys. She understands how important this is." I glanced back at Maya, bent over her math workbook, completely unaware that her grandmother was uninviting her from a family holiday. Something cold settled in my chest. "Okay," I said simply. Mom blinked, clearly having expected more resistance. Oh, good. "I'm glad you're being reasonable about this. Dinner's at 3 o'clock sharp. Dress code is cocktail attire. And please try to contribute to the conversations. Thomas Henderson is very interested in emerging markets. I'll see what I can do." "Perfect. I'll send you the menu tomorrow. We're doing a 12-course progression." She smiled brightly. "This is going to be such an elegant affair. Exactly the kind of impression we want to make." The call ended. I sat very still for a long moment, then got up and joined Maya at the kitchen table. "Was that Grandma?" she asked without looking up from her homework. "Yeah, baby. Are we going to their house for Thanksgiving?" I smoothed her hair back. "How would you feel about having our own special Thanksgiving this year? Just you and me. We could do whatever you want." Maya's eyes lit up. "Really? Could we have pizza instead of turkey?" "Absolutely. And watch movies all day? Every single one you want." She hugged me tight. "That sounds better than Grandma's boring dinners anyway." I kissed the top of her head, thinking about exactly how boring my mother was about to find her elegant affair. The next 3 weeks passed normally. Mom sent daily updates about the menu, the flower arrangements, the imported wines. My brother Marcus called twice to thank me for being cool about the kid thing, and to practice his talking points about cryptocurrency investments. My sister Jennifer sent a text, "Mom's vision, not mine, but you get it." I responded to everything politely. Confirmed my attendance. Asked if I should bring wine. Mentioned I was looking forward to meeting the Hendersons and Montgomerys. What I didn't mention was the other thing happening that week. My company's publicity team had been planning the announcement for 6 months. The timing was carefully calculated. The day before Thanksgiving, when the news cycle was slow and business features would get maximum attention. My head of communications, David, had argued for waiting until January, but I'd insisted on November. "The markets are going to react," he'd warned during our final strategy session. "That's fine," I'd told him. "Let them react." On Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, the press release went live across every major business wire. By 9:30 it was trending on social media. By 10 o'clock, 3 major networks had picked it up for their business segments. I was in my office when David called. "You're not going to believe this. Forbes just moved you up to number 47 on their real-time billionaires list. The stock jump from the announcement added another $800 million to your valuation. Sounds about right. The Wall Street Journal wants an exclusive interview. So do Bloomberg, CNBC, and about 15 others. Schedule them for next week. Your phone's about to explode. He wasn't wrong. By 10:30, I'd received texts from business school classmates I hadn't spoken to in years, former colleagues, industry contacts, and several venture capitalists who'd turned down the opportunity to invest in my company 7 years ago, when it was just an idea and a pitch deck. What I didn't receive, interestingly, was any communication from my family. At 11 o'clock, my assistant knocked on my office door. "Your mother's calling." 4th time. "I'm in meetings all day." That's what I told her. She said it's urgent. Everything's urgent to my mother. I'll call her tomorrow. By noon, the story had evolved beyond just the business pages. The human interest angle had taken hold. Single mother builds tech empire while raising daughter alone, stays completely anonymous for 7 years, reveals identity only after the company's successful IPO, values it at $12 billion. Several outlets had found my college graduation photo. Someone dug up an interview I'd done for a Women in Technology blog 5 years ago, where I'd talked about balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship without revealing my company name. My phone showed 63 missed calls from various family members. By 2 p.m. text messages flooded in. "Marcus, is this real? Call me immediately." "Jennifer, why didn't you tell us?" "Mom is losing her mind." "Dad, we need to talk about this. Very concerning that you kept this from the family." "Mom." 17 missed calls. No messages. Just calls. I silenced my phone and took Maya to her favorite ice cream place after school. We got triple scoops and walked through the park. She told me about her friend's new puppy and asked if we could volunteer at the animal shelter over Thanksgiving break. "Absolutely," I said. "We'll look up their schedule tonight." "You're the best mom ever," she said, chocolate ice cream on her nose. My phone was still exploding when we got home. I left it in my bag and made dinner while Maya did her reading homework. We watched a documentary about penguins. I tucked her in at 8:30 and read 3 chapters of her current favorite book. Only then did I check my phone. 91 missed calls. 147 text messages. 32 voicemails. My mother had apparently discovered social media because there were also Instagram DMs, Facebook messages, and even a LinkedIn connection request from my brother. I listened to exactly 1 voicemail, the most recent one from my mother. "I don't know what kind of game you think you're playing, but this is humiliating. Absolutely humiliating. Everyone is calling me and I had no idea my own daughter was running some billion-dollar company. Thomas Henderson sent me an article asking if I was proud." "Proud? I didn't even know. How dare you embarrass this family like this? Call me back immediately. We need to do damage control before Thanksgiving." I deleted it and went to bed. Thanksgiving morning arrived clear and cold. Maya and I slept in until 9, then made pancakes with chocolate chips and strawberries. She wanted to watch the parade, so we curled up on the couch under blankets while cartoon floats drifted across the screen. At 10 a.m. my doorbell rang. Through the security camera I could see my mother, father, Marcus, and Jennifer all crowded on my front porch. Mom was holding what appeared to be a flower arrangement. Dad had a bottle of wine. They looked nervous. I cracked the door open without removing the chain. "Can I help you?" "Sweetheart," Mom started, her voice sugary sweet in a way I'd never heard before. "We came to apologize and see if maybe you and Maya would like to come to Thanksgiving after all. We'd love to have you both." I thought rich people were coming. Wouldn't Maya disrupt the sophisticated atmosphere? Mom's smile flickered. "I may have been hasty about that. Obviously we want our granddaughter there. It's a family holiday. What about the Hendersons and Montgomerys? Won't they mind a child running around?" "Actually," Marcus interjected, "Thomas Henderson called this morning. He asked specifically if you were coming to dinner. Apparently he's been trying to get a meeting with you for months through proper channels." "And Patricia Montgomery," Jennifer added quickly, "sent Mom a message saying how excited she was to potentially meet you. She mentioned something about a board position." I looked at my mother. Her carefully applied makeup couldn't quite hide the desperation in her eyes. The flower arrangement trembled slightly in her hands. "The thing is," I said conversationally, "Maya and I already have plans. We're doing pizza and movies. Then we're going to volunteer at the animal shelter tomorrow. It's going to be a really special mother-daughter day. But the dinner, Mom started. The dinner you uninvited my daughter from because she wasn't impressive enough for your rich friends? That dinner. Silence. Here's what's interesting, I continued. You've known me for 34 years. You raised me. And somehow you never noticed that I was building something. You never asked about my work beyond whether it paid enough. You never wondered why I traveled so much or took calls at odd hours or spent every spare minute on my laptop. You never told us, Dad protested. You never asked. But that's not even the point. I crouched down to eye level with my mother. The point is that you looked at your only granddaughter and decided she wasn't good enough to be included in your celebration. Not because of anything she did. Just because she's 7 and might be inconvenient. We made a mistake, Mom whispered. Yes, you did. And now you're here because I'm suddenly useful. Because Thomas Henderson wants to meet me. Because having a billionaire daughter makes you look good at your fancy dinner party. Marcus cleared his throat. It's not just that. It's exactly that. If the news hadn't broken yesterday, you'd all be at your elegant 12-course meal right now, and Maya would be with a babysitter and you'd feel perfectly fine about it. Jennifer's eyes were wet. We're sorry. Really sorry. I believe you're sorry you got caught being shallow. I believe you're sorry you're embarrassed. I don't believe you're sorry about what you did to Maya. So you're not coming? Mom's voice cracked. No. We're not coming. Not this year. Not until you understand that Maya is worth 1,000 Thomas Hendersons, and I'm your daughter whether I'm a billionaire or broke. I started to close the door then paused. Oh, and Mom? You should probably know. Thomas Henderson is one of my investors. He owns about 4% of my company. So when you seat him at dinner tonight and he asks where I am, you can tell him exactly what you told me, that my daughter wasn't sophisticated enough for your party. I closed the door and locked it. Through the window I watched them stand there for a long moment. Mom was crying. Dad had his arm around her shoulders. Marcus and Jennifer looked shell-shocked. Eventually they turned and walked back to their car. Maya appeared in the hallway, still in her pajamas. Who was that? Nobody important, baby. Ready for pizza? Her face lit up. Can we get the one with 4 different cheeses? We can get whatever you want. Later that evening, after the pizza and the movies and the ice cream sundaes, after Maya had fallen asleep on the couch with her head in my lap, I finally opened my laptop. The news coverage had continued all day. My company's stock had jumped another 6%. 3 more interview requests waited in my inbox. And there, buried among the business inquiries, was an email from Thomas Henderson. Heard you skipped your family's Thanksgiving. Can't say I blame you after hearing the story. My grandkids and I are having pizza and watching movies too. The sophisticated dinner parties are overrated anyway. Call me next week if you want to grab coffee and talk about that board position Patricia mentioned. No pressure. Happy Thanksgiving. I smiled and closed the laptop. Outside, the first snow of the season had started to fall. Maya stirred in her sleep and I pulled the blanket higher around her shoulders. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Jennifer. For what it's worth, I think you're an amazing mom. And I'm sorry we made you feel like you had to choose. I typed back. I didn't have to choose. The choice was always obvious. Then I turned off my phone and watched the snow fall, my daughter sleeping peacefully beside me, surrounded by pizza boxes and the gentle glow of paused movie credits. In the morning we'd go to the animal shelter. Maybe we'd foster a dog. Maybe we'd start a new tradition, one where everyone was welcome regardless of their age or their net worth or their usefulness at networking dinners. But tonight we were exactly where we needed to be. Together. Which was worth more than all the sophisticated Thanksgiving dinners and billion-dollar valuations in the world. Some people measure success in stock prices and board positions. I measured mine in chocolate chip pancakes and ice cream sundaes and the weight of my daughter's head on my lap as snow fell outside our window. And by that measure I was the richest person I knew.